What's up, Internet? IG here again with no, I'm kidding. It's 100 videos on this channel. So today I'm going to be having a look at behind the scenes. So what usually goes into a distro review or an app review or an InfinitelyGalactic's opinion or one of those things that usually happens on my channel? Well, to be honest, there's usually quite a bit. So today I'm just going to be showing you some of the gear that I use and how I put it all together and that sort of thing. Because I know some of you have had questions about that. So let's take a look around, shall we? Okay, so we'll start with some easy ones, and that is what computers do I own? First of all, I've got the Dell XPS 15, which is the 2011 model, I believe. So it's a nice quad-core i7 laptop, and that's what I do most of my work on. That's my real workhorse. Over here, I have my desktop, which is a Dell Inspiron 530. Sponsor? No, not really. I wish. But this desktop has been around for quite some time. It was actually one of my first desktop computers that I bought in 2006. Over here we have the Blue Snowball microphone, which a lot of YouTubers use. Very good quality microphone, and it's USB, so it fits like a glove in with the Linux ecosystem. And then the probably the latest addition to the world, and that is the Canon 600D. And also the Rode video mic that I capture the audio on. So then, of course, I've got a trusty tripod over here, and then the view that you usually get is somewhere like that, or either that, or you're looking at the back of the cupboard here like that. So that's usually the views that I use, and then obviously I do most of my editing and post-production there, and then I've also got my tablet sitting over there against the tower. So the first thing that I'm usually going to do when I'm going to review a distribution is DistroWatch is my favorite place to visit, and so obviously I'm going to go jump on DistroWatch and have a look to see what's new. Then I'll download the ISO, I'll check the MD5, put it onto a USB flash drive, stick it into the USB port of either my laptop or the desktop, or boot it up in VirtualBox. And then screen capture. Now, of course, screen recording is where it's at, and so that's where we're going to jump to. Now, apart from the fact that you're going to notice my voice sounds much better coming through the Blue Snowball microphone, you'll also notice that the screen resolution is slightly higher than what I usually use for my videos. And by slightly higher, I mean almost double. I usually use the 1376 by 768 for my screen captures, simply because with full 1080p resolution, which is what you're looking at now, it can sometimes be a bit hard to see the details of what's on the screen. So we'll start really quick with the basics, and of course Ubuntu 12.04 long-term support release is my beast of choice when it comes to distributions. Why? Well, there's a few reasons that I've talked about in the past, one of which is the HUD or the HUD menu. Big time saver when you're working on complicated applications like Kdenlive or GIMP or those sorts of things. Also, the Unity launcher is not something something that I can't really do without nowadays, simply because it is so fast and efficient in launching what I want. And also Ubuntu has a very wide support range, so it's usually what I use on a regular basis. On my desktop, I am running Magia 2 as the primary desktop, but of course I'm experimenting with several distributions on and off on both of these computers on a regular basis. Now, also screen recording software. I used to use a terminal prompt. I used to use an FFmpeg command, but for some reason FFmpeg stopped doing what I want it to do, and I just couldn't really be bothered trying to figure it out, because Kazam, as of Ubuntu 12.04, started to work very nicely indeed. So if I launch Kazam here again, you can see that I'm actually already recording using Kazam, of course. But why do I like using Kazam? Well, it's simple. You can record from multiple audio sources, so you can have the system audio and audio coming from my Blue Snowball mic as well, which is very handy. You can control the frame rate, countdown timer, and all that fun stuff, and it spits it out in either H.264 or WebM for the more open format. So it's all very nice stuff, and so that's what I usually use. So for any VirtualBox reviews that you see, they're recorded with Kazam Screencaster on Ubuntu 12.04. So consequently, when I do have a virtual machine that I want to open up in VirtualBox, then I'll usually jump down to that lower screen resolution, and then I will go full screen into that distribution, so then you can have a look at it in detail. Now, of course, this is where a quad-core PC comes in handy, because I can record at 25 frames a second, which is what is a standard frame rate here in the Asia Pacific region. And then you can see I jump back to full screen, and I've got Pear Linux 5 running in VirtualBox. Now, I usually, of course, I do install the VirtualBox add-on, so it looks at least like, and it performs like it should be on native hardware. There are times where I do actually, in fact, I'd say about 50% of the time I'm installing VirtualBox, or I'm using actual native hardware to record and review the distribution. It's obviously easier if it's inside VirtualBox, simply because it's not as much work partitioning and that sort of thing. But having said that, if a distribution's good enough, then it is definitely going to wind up on my native hardware. Now, next, let's have a look at the editing process, because that's really where most of the work goes into. So if we power off the virtual machine and we jump into Kdenlive, Kdenlive is what I do most of my editing in, and to be honest, I think it's probably one of the better video editors out there for Linux, at least one of the most readily available ones. Let's have a look. We'll just have a quick look at the NextUIS video that I did. So usually, apart from the fact that I will sometimes use obviously my 600D as intro footage, that depends on whether I can be bothered editing that sort of thing as well. But generally what I do is I will shoot the thing completely ad lib, and then the joy of editing is that I can make myself sound as good as I want to. So I can edit out all of the awkward silences or pauses, or just verbal stuff-ups that I might come across, and put it together into some semi-coherent passage. Also, one thing that I have noticed is that sometimes the audio capture can be a bit quiet, so then I'll usually put in gain sound effects here that you can just pump up the volume a bit, so people can hear what you're saying. And that's also why I have the little audio monitor here, so that when I'm playing the audio coming from the mic, that I can see exactly how much it's using, peaking out, etc. So we don't get any terrible sounding audio, but you can actually hear what's going on. Also, the intro thingamy that I made here in the beginning, this is just an After Effects project, and yes, After Effects is a necessary evil, unfortunately, and of course that requires Windows, so I do actually dual boot Windows for more complex production things, but to be honest, there's not really a whole lot that I'm using Windows for nowadays. Generally speaking, it's Publisher, PowerPoint, and sometimes a more advanced video editor as well, which will remain nameless at this stage. But then once I'm happy with the footage that I've chopped up and turned into however I like it, also the resolution is usually 720p and 25 frames a second, so that also is good. If I'm shooting at 50 frames a second, I can slow it down and it looks quite nice. So then once I'm finished editing and playing around with the footage, and usually this can take me anywhere between half an hour to 45 minutes to edit out everything and make it sound good, then I'll of course hit the render button, and I've created my own little profile here under H.264 there, and you can see the details there. I've got 1.75 meg per second for the video, and then I've got 192 kilobytes a second for the audio. H.264 is a great codec because it renders out incredibly quickly, and it actually, with a quad-core PC, it's going to render out actually less time than what the video takes to play through, which is pretty handy. Then, of course, once I've made the video, it goes straight to the upload page of YouTube, and then while it is uploading, I will create a title page or a thumbnail for it in GIMP. And of course, I've shown you this process before in my GIMP review, so you can go and check that out if you want a more detailed look. But basically, it's all just revolves around me dumping a logo in there, taking a screenshot from what I've just been talking about, putting some text on it, slapping my logo on it, and then uploading that to YouTube as well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a behind-the-scenes look at what I do for my channel. So usually this process will take about 2 hours from start to finish, depending how complicated the video is. Like for example this one, because I've got multiple different shots from different sources, it might take maybe around an hour and a half from start to finish to edit it all together and upload it to YouTube, etc. And then thrown in all that with my college agenda, which is pretty hectic, you can see how I'm just putting out usually 1 to 2 videos a week. And despite that, we are now sitting at 100 videos, and it's been a little bit over a year since I started taking this channel seriously. Of course, my first video was uploaded in December of 2010, and since then, from about June 2011, I got the YouTube partnership, and then it's been, obviously, we're now here sitting in August of 2012. So it's been a great journey. You guys have been very supportive, and I love the interaction that you guys keep bringing to the table every time I upload a video. I really appreciate it. and hopefully we're going to be seeing many more videos in the years to come. And as long as I have a laptop and a internet connection and maybe a decent microphone, we'll keep making these videos as long as Linux software keeps evolving, which, to the best of my calculations, isn't going to be going away anytime soon. Of course, it's been a great learning process for me, and I've definitely learned a lot about free software in the process, and I'm definitely not done with learning because there are many things to learn about Linux. I've merely dropped a pebble in the ocean. So once again, I appreciate you all putting up with my sometimes noob mistakes. I hope you've been finding these reviews and applications helpful, and I have all 8,000-ish of you to thank for what I'm here doing today, because really, if it wasn't for you guys, then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and doing all the stuff that you audience do to lavish your love on the Infinitely Galactic channel. And here's to another 100 videos. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. No, not the clapping, that's too much. Alright, let's go do something else.